Hi, welcome to the Frugal Frau. I'm Sukey, your host, and today we're going to show you how we make our basic knobs, which is a drawer pull, or if it's oriented like that, it could be a cabinet pull, like you see here on these cabinets. Example is a drawer pull because we carved out underneath so that when you pull the drawer out, you have a place to put your fingers. Now, we have a couple other special things in this video which I want to mention. We have our jig for the drawer pull centering that we use, and that's this. And then we also have this for centering it on the drawer face or the cabinet frame. And then we have our patterns that we use, and we have small, medium, and large. So that's what we're going to provide links to at the end of the video. But before we get started with the actual process, please like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to post your comments or your questions into the video. Thank you very much, and let's get started. First, dimension your wood to the desired size, and then rough cut out the knob shapes. We usually just trace a bunch of these onto the dimensioned stock, then quickly cut them out using a crosscut saw, or sometimes we have even used a table saw. The pattern and other pattern diagrams in this video will all be available as a single PDF download. After rough cutting, don't forget to square up your stock. We use our miter cutter, or we call it the guillotine, set to the proper angle, which in our case for the small angle is a 22.5 degree angle, and we use this to finely trim those edges and make sure that the angle is perfect. And here is the completed cut for you to see. Next, if you are making drawer pulls and wish to have the underside contoured, use the drawer pull knob pattern to mark the center of the underside face of the pull. Also mark that center on the fastening edge of the pull or knob. Square the edge line with a small tri-square. Next, set a marking gauge to the center of the pull or knob thickness. Scribe that center mark along the fastening edge face of the pull or knob. Use a small nail punch or a sharp nail to mark the exact center position on the fastening edge of the pull. This will be useful when aligning the pull or knob on the drawer front or a cabinet door frame. Drill into the knob with a countersink bit at this center point. Make sure the bit has a smaller diameter than the pivot screw you are going to set into this hole. Use another marking gauge to mark off the depth line for the actual finger grip on a drawer pull. And so pick the side you want to make the bottom and mark the depth line from the bottom just across there. And that way you'll know how far to cut and carve this out. Now, use your square to mark the center line on the bottom face of the drawer pull. That way you'll know where the center of the pull is to be, and you can line that up on the little pattern as shown. And you can trace out the shape of the contour for your finger grip on the bottom of the pull. The maximum depth of the pull that we usually do is just about 1/4 inch. Saw the center line down to the depth line at the edge of the finger grip. Hold the saw at an angle and do not saw past the grip edges. Tom uses curved gouges to cut the finger grip contour, working down to the maximum depth in the center, a little bit at a time. Then just start contouring, working around the radius of that curve, and make a clamshell. And the degree you smooth this out is totally up to you. And so you'll just have to test it out and see what you like. Use whatever tools you have to do this, and here Tom was using, or is using, a small carving gouge. When the contour is to your liking, smooth it off with a curved scraper. You may have to go back and forth between the scraper and a small carving gauge to get the desired contour and texture. We made a large apothecary cabinet for our entranceway, and it has many drawers. We want the knobs to be dark, so we are torrefying them with a gas torch to darken and burn or scorch the wood. Tom placed a screw at the center hole that was previously drilled, allowing him to easily hold the knob for torrefication. Next, lightly sand it to get any loose bits off. After sanding, we like to oil the knobs. Use the oil or finish of your choice to do this. All right, before we complete this video today, I want to make a shameless plug because we're going to start a new series called Tom Talks Shop. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed so you can easily be notified of those. And in that particular series, we're going to answer questions that we get, whether we get them on forums or we get them on YouTube. We're also going to talk about the tools we use and why we use them. And then we're going to talk about techniques and why we use some techniques as opposed to other techniques. So I hope you'll look forward to seeing those, and I look forward to your questions for Tom Talks Shop. Find the center of the drawer front you wish to install the pole on by marking the horizontal and vertical centers. Where these two lines cross is the absolute drawer front center. Next, mark that center point with a nail punch or a sharp nail. Extend the drawer front horizontal line to the drawer front edges. It is not necessary to do this with the vertical line, though you might find it helpful. Next, Tom lines up the drilling jig center hole and drilling jig horizontal line with the drawer front absolute center and the drawer front horizontal center marks. Tom drills the center hole all the way through the drawer front. Remember, this hole will be concealed by the drawer pull when the pull is installed. The hole is used to aid in positioning the pull or knob exactly in the center and exactly level to the top and bottom edges of the drawer face. Clean up the drilled hole edges. With the drilling jig lined up, Tom uses a small drill bit to mark the screw attachment holes on the front face of the drawer front. In this example, he is marking the holes for the 5.5-inch size knob. Using a larger drill bit, drill those two holes completely through the front drawer face. This will allow the actual smaller size attachment screws to easily pass through the drawer face back to front when you actually attach the knob. smooth off the splinters created by drilling. Check to make sure the screws you will use to attach the pole is long enough to seat well into the pole, but short enough so they don't poke through the front of the edge of the pole. Place the centering screw into the center hole and pull it back just so the point is at the drawer front of the faced surface, and then screw it in and catch it into the center hole of the drawer pull. Now screw this down firmly. This screw allows you to pivot the pull so that you can center it on the previously marked horizontal lines on the drawer front face. Use your tape measure to check the measurement. You only need to do this from one side. And then tap it if necessary to get it a little more level with the top and bottom edges. Mark the attachment face screw holes on the pole by tapping a nail punch or screw through the pre-drilled alignment holes on the drawer face, as you see Tom doing here. In case your drawer front is 2 boards thick, as is common in many pre-made cabinet drawers, you can then remove the handle to pre-drill the screw holes because you have easily marked them so they will align perfectly when you go to install the pole onto the drawer face. In this example, pole removal is not necessary because the drawer front is only 1 board thick. Drill a screw pilot hole into the knob, lining it up with the already drilled alignment holes in the drawer front face. Make sure your drill bit is of a smaller diameter than the screw you are going to use, and make sure the length of the drill bit does not extend any more than is necessary into the back or attachment face of the handle. Usually we aim for about 1/4 inch from the front edge of the drawer handle so that the screws will never pass through to the front. Those 2 alignment holes on the back of the front face of the drawer were drilled out with a countersink, but I neglected to show that. Sorry. This enables the screws to be flush with the inside face of the drawer. And here are some examples of knobs we have actually installed in our house. Top left is a knob on a basement cabinet with no finger grip contour. The bottom one is a drawer pull on one of our drawers in a bathroom. And the top right is the one we just showed you how we made in this video.